I'm still learning. Anyway, thanks for having me this morning. First of all, Steve, great job of putting this together. I love when I see the industry and the hobby move forward. It's been a while since I've seen a lot of you. Obviously, most of you are aware. I'm not with Steiner Sports anymore. I'm with Collectible Exchange, and I'm just grinding. I've just started my new company only 6-7 months ago, and believe me, it hasn't been easy. It's like the guy who calls, basically the guy goes sees the doctor, and doctor calls him up and says, "You want the good news or you want the worst news?" He says, "Good news, the worst news? You're kidding." Well, just give me the bad news first. You're going to die in one day. Are you kidding me? Well, what's the worst news? I tried calling you yesterday and your cell phone was off. So, for me, like with this virus and everything going on, it's been really tough. It's been very, it's been quite a challenge. And, the virus, everybody's been home going through their closets. They've been going through everything. I know when I've come home, my wife is all over me, garage, closets, basement. So all of a sudden, Collectible Exchange does have over 50,000 items on there, and we're starting to boom. And my goal there was just to try to collaborate everybody to give them an opportunity to buy and sell. But what I love about the hobby and what I've really learned over the last year is that the great collectors are really out there. They're with you. You guys are the best collectors, and some of the most amazing things that I've now seen, as opposed to manufacturing and putting out a lot of collectibles. I've seen now the grind that still exists in the hobby. I see people finding those hidden treasures, creating those hidden treasures, the one of ones, which is what people die for, the hidden treasure of that card that somebody finds in a box. Somebody came to me the other day with a Rocky and Bullwinkle game set, which I happen to like that cartoon, frankly. And then inside was a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rookie card autographed. There's nothing like those stories. And I plan on trying to promote the hobby, promote the fact that people should go back and do business with the people that can tell the stories, that find these hidden treasures, as opposed to getting lost sometimes in the volume and all that sort of thing. So the one thing I wanted to mention is a lot of people ask me, and I'll do some Q&A. I know maybe some of you have questions about Steiner and different things that have happened. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of control over that brand anymore, which is very difficult, by the way, to not have control over your own name, which is another story for, something that, didn't really end well. But I really wanted to do this, so the timing was good for me to move forward and be able to kind of create this new opportunity. And I didn't really think the Fanatics would do what they did, which I'm sure most of you can see that, the way they operate is not always, first class and forthright. But the reality is, people always ask me how I got started. And I think it's really important for all of us to think about the opportunity now for us to get started, for not only us, but the entire hobby probably needs to move forward. Because I think the past is probably the past. It may be a while for us to probably get going with card shows and trade shows. And this virtual thing that Steve was probably genius enough to put together is probably what a lot of us are going to have to do individually, as far as going lives and going into our stores and going into our inventories and really showing collectors what we have. And it may end up even being more personal. So, people don't realize when I started Steiner 32 years ago, I really started marketing players. I wasn't doing collectibles, and I was just doing collectibles on the side to really support my corporate appearances. And we still do that to this day. So it was 1994, right around this time, June 17th, my mom had just passed away, and I was on the Metro North, and I hated taking the train. There was nothing worse than taking the train to work every day. And I just started nodding my head. I was just in a bad mood. I wasn't sure where even Steiner was going at that point. And I looked down and I see Mark Messier on the back page of the Daily News. If anybody is a hockey fan out there, you remember that grin he had, that look of complete happiness. There's never been a better and bigger smile than he had on his face. And I said to myself, being a big Ranger and being a huge hockey fan, and being a big card collector, by the way, for all those of you out there that are card dealers, I said, I bet you I could sell 15,000 of those if I could only find Mark Messier and figure out a way to cut a deal with him. And at that time, there were very, very few companies even doing collectibles, and no one was really doing hockey collectibles in the early 90s. So it took me like 3 months, and I'm on that train every day, and the guy's got his shoes off. One of the guys arguing with his wife. God knows they're getting divorced. Somebody's eating some stinky food that I just got to get off this train. So I tracked Mark down, And I ended up cutting my first collectible deal, which is what started Steiner at the time. And we did a spokesman deal. Mark was one of the great partners I've ever had, frankly. Just as great a player as he is a person and a partner. And what he did to really for the collectible business is amazing. And so, at the end of the day, we did do those back pages of the Daily News, and he signed a ton of them. And I wish I had a more glorified story, but it was just a money grab. I was just trying to get off the damn train so I could buy a car. And I think the message in that, I hope that all of you are thinking about, is it doesn't really matter where you are. At that point in '94, things weren't going that well. I was barely making money. And I just finally just said, I've had it. I decided to have a high level of non-acceptance. And I think that's what I try to empower for all of you, is to have a high level of non-acceptance and not let a virus or the fact that we can't get together for the normal card show, but have a high level of non-acceptance, not letting this hobby get pushed to the side. I know business is somewhat vibrant, but we've got to keep reaching out and touching people. My high level of non-acceptance back in '94 is what ended up creating, later on Steiner Sports and now the Collectible Exchange, which is just all about creating value for people and bringing those stories forward and letting them enjoy some of the more positive and highlights that we have, which why shouldn't you celebrate? And why shouldn't you hold on to that rookie card, a player that you remember when you were a kid that you love following? I mean, I think that's the joy that we're able to experience even when times get tough like this. So for me, it was a money grab back then, and there's nothing wrong with a money grab. But I think the most important thing that I try to express in my business every day is creating value. Value is what you can do for someone that they can't do for themselves. And I think that a lot of you have a lot of value. You've gone and done the work. You've found the hidden treasures. You have the ability to tell the story that sometimes a computer can't. So if you can combine the technology, combine the knowledge and experience and storytelling that you have, that's what customers really want. You may get more customers' attention by doing virtual talks, breaks now are really hot, as you all know, and doing all these types of things online. You may end up having a better relationship with your customers than you ever have if you can get onto the technology bandwagon and upgrade maybe some of your social media and websites, which I know sometimes is hard, but that's the new expense. That's the new vehicle that a lot of you, I'm hoping, will use more of, to not only put your products up on your sites, but telling the story via video or even just with great and direct good writing. People now will have the time. They'll be transporting less and they'll be doing less. They'll have more time to look, search online, and have conversations with you. So take advantage of that. I think that's really, really important. I think for me, the high level of non-acceptance, how do we grow? How do we grow this business? How do we grow this industry? And I think the number one thing is that all of us are better than some of us. And the more collaborative and the more we share and the more we actually share good case studies, this thing that Steve's doing, we all really need to take note and we need to look at it and try to figure out how we could do some micro versions of it. It's probably a lot of work. I wasn't involved with putting all this together, but on a small scale with several hundred customers or 100 customers or so, you can have your own virtual conversation with your customers, showing them some of the new hot cards and telling the stories, and Skype in a player maybe to even make the stories even become alive even more so. And now with players home a little bit more and not able to go out as much, those players become a little more affordable or a little more flexible, I should say. I will say this. The little things are everything. And right now, I just did a blog today on brandonsteiner.com that talked about the no passing zone. A lot of hospitals and healthcare places have what we call a no passing zone. And a no passing zone means no matter who you are, what you are, when you come upon a situation and somebody needs help, you have to stop and you have to help them. And I think now is a time when you can help people with your storytelling, helping people not only telling stories, but also selling them all kinds of unique ideas and bringing back the past. The no passing zone is a time when you can't expect people to automatically reach out back to you. They're not going to walk by your store. They're not going to come to the quarterly card show like you normally would expect them to. You have to go and reach out to people, and you got to do it in a creative way. Social media now gives you those means to go live on Instagram, live on LinkedIn, live on Facebook, or just doing quick videos and sending those videos out to your customer base. No matter how big or small it is, there's nothing like getting a personal video showing somebody a beautiful 1952 Mickey Mantle card or showing somebody this gorgeous Babe Ruth autograph. Those are things that people are now more apt to doing because There's not a lot of TV, there's not a lot of games, and you probably still have another 2-3 months where you're going to have a lot of people's attention. So I think the business could be better than ever. So make sure you empower yourself along with the other people, the no passing zone. Don't pass by your customers and expecting them to call. You've got to spend X amount of time responding on social media, responding to the people that you're connected to personally, one at a time. I try to spend at least 2 hours a day on social media, responding to everybody that asks me a question or responds to my posts that I put on LinkedIn or Facebook. So now, instead of responding to those people that you may see at a card show, or responding to people that may walk by your store, respond to those people, reach out to those people, go through the list of people you're connected to, and see who you haven't heard from in a while. Safe, healthy, if there's anything you could do. This is a time when you have to be a little more aggressive, even though the business is upticking. Now's the time when you can build relationships with people. If you employ the no passing zone, if you reach out and touch someone, to steal an AT&T line, but it's true. And then the last thing I'll say is this: we are all here for a reason. You have to think about why you're here. We're all here for only one reason: to get better. There are thousands and thousands of species on this planet: elephants, lions, tigers, ants, bears, fish, owls, birds. We're the only species on the entire planet that has the ability to get better. So if you're not thinking every day about getting better and about improving your business and about improving the hobby that we actually have the benefit and the privilege of being a part of, I mean, geez, can you believe that we get to talk about sports every day and all day? You're never going to wake up in the morning and your dog would have walked itself, fed itself, and is reading the New York Times in the corner. You're never going to look over at your fish tank and your goldfish doing backflips, breaststrokes. An elephant's going to poop and eat for 17 straight hours. And that elephant's been around for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. And maybe that elephant will have some sex once in a while. We're the only species that can improve. If you don't do it for the hobby, you don't do it for your family, yourself, do it because why else would we be here? To improve and to grow the businesses and grow and make this planet a little better. So make sure you incorporate some community work as a part of the hobby to add back and put a good spin on what we're doing with the hobby. Try to add in some community work of helping other people, which I see so much of that going on with charity auctions and everything else. The only reason why we're here is to get better, and do it with a little bit of hostile. Think about all the people that think that you're dead, that this business wasn't a business, that you're never going to make a living selling cards or autographs. Think about all those people that question you, and then you turned around and made a business out of it. So I ask all of you to do these two things. One, remember why you're here. And it's for only one reason: to beat yesterday and to get better. And if you're not helping your business get a little better, it's an insult. Think about the privilege and the benefit we have, not only of being here, but think about what part of the world we're at, as opposed to other parts of the world we could have been born into. And don't forget about the community. Don't forget about other people that have been left out, that don't have it as good. And incorporate a little part, especially at this time, to just help out just a little bit. Because the leadership in the business can come from all of you. The leadership can happen with every one of us by just making somebody feel good. Sending out a video telling a great sports story about this rookie card that you got and how you got it. Those are all leadership stuff that breaks the day up, especially in times like this where we're having so much adversity and so much confusion. These are positive breaks that people need, positive nuggets that you can send out. And I hope that all of you take that leadership role and make this hobby something that people can kind of rely on to get a break in their day. I hope all of you realize how privileged it is to be part of this hobby, and hopefully that we could all come together. I love this virtual idea. I think it's a great idea. I think we need more of it. I think we need more collaboration and more friendship, more love in the hobby, because we all could help each other a lot more. And after all, why else are we here? You wonder why are we here? And it's to help each other and to get better. And hopefully we're all here today and this weekend to figure out how we can make this hobby a little better and to bring the friendships forward. There's a lot of empowerment in this room this weekend. There's a lot of good things that all of you are doing. And I hope that you continue to do it. And I hope you can take it into your areas and neighborhoods and communities and bring some joy, bring some light. Remember, helping people is not a burden. It's an opportunity that will bring you to sheer joy. I want to thank all of you for supporting me all these years at Steiner. It was a privilege, and I really thank you. I mean, I know many of you have bought different products. Hopefully, your experiences were good. We try to be a very customer service friendly, but you hear different things throughout the hobby about, we always kind of have a little chip on our shoulder about the competition in the hobby. But I always try to be somebody that respected the hobby and try to do good work and try to make the business better. I hope that with the Collectible Exchange, I could do the same. Hopefully, I could help you sell more products, communicate your products better, and kind of reverse and disrupt the business that's been done, so that the little collector in a small town in Canada, or the little collector in the Midwest, who maybe doesn't have some huge platform, can voice his, or can she voice her unbelievable invention, or find a site that is respectable. And I'm hoping Collectible Exchange offers you some of those advantages, and I hope you give us a shot. My book is free on Collectible Exchange this weekend. Any one of the three, You Gotta Have Balls, Living on Purpose, and The Business Playbook. Please feel free to go to the site and get the book for free. I answer all my emails. I answer everything on LinkedIn. Just follow me on LinkedIn, or please reach out if you have any questions or complaints, because I did leave somewhat abruptly. If there were some things that were unfinished business, I haven't had much of a time to really talk with much of the hobby. I'm happy to talk with you and see how I can resolve any open issues or anything that you may be left with, or any concerns or new ideas you have. I'm just an entrepreneur. I'm investing in some new ideas, and I hopefully can continue to make the business and hobby a little bit better. I'll do a little Q&A if you want. I know we're running a little tight on time, but I'm happy to do a little Q&A. If any of you have any questions or anything you want to ask me, I'm happy to jump in.